Yes, sir. Gooch with the last second change to the Shake a Show. Shake a Show. Shake a Show. All right.
All right.
Live, baby. Let's get it started. All right. Just wait for somebody to trickle in. There we go.
Am I still fucking frozen over there?
It's like
You're a little choppy.
it's like it is what it is at this point. We'll work them all out, but let's rage. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily on a Chop Sports Wednesday, on a Chop Sauce Wednesday. There's so many, I don't know. There's too many monikers for me, but it is Wednesday. We are here coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio in Matawan, New Jersey. We're joined, Sturch and Gooch, of course, by the Sauce Network. It is move-in day, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Kerms is here. Dina Simpson's here in the house for Chop Sports. We're calling it Chop Sauce Wednesdays because Kyle obviously is here and he's got some free picks later on today in the show. So stay tuned. He's got some freebies coming up. We're here we go. Yeah, what's her face? Whatchamacall? Yeah, Ashley. I'm trying to think of name.
Why is Chris switching? Yes, yeah. We switched over cameras to my phone and we are working out the semantics of that.
You need, I'm telling you right now, by the end of this show, that'll be your job for today is to fix your phone, get all I got to do is,
I have like 75 videos of my cat.
That is
all
a thing.
My memory.
That is a thing. Kyle, bro, what's going on? I see that we're supporting a lockout. Both of us rocking the New York Yankees hats today.
That was unintentional. Unintentional.
We
I actually forgot about the lockout.
We didn't call each other or anything like that. I promise. We didn't say like, "Oh, what are you wearing?" I don't know. What are you wearing? So yeah, the lockout is something we should talk about for a second, only because it's about to go down tonight. Obviously, the Mets are making their moves. The Yankees haven't done anything yet. As far as actually, they tenured. What do they call it? No, they arbitrate. What do you call that when you get the guy back for a year? Arbitration?
It depends who you're talking about.
Gary Sanchez.
I think they tendered him.
Tendered. That's what I was looking for. That's the word I was looking for. Tendered Gary Sanchez. So obviously Gary Sanchez will be our catcher in 2022, which is alarming. But look, I mean, maybe he'll release the Kraken again. I don't know. I mean, it is alarming to know that that's going to be catcher one, starting catcher one on opening day. I don't know. You okay with that, Gooch? Are you okay with 1 year of a prove it deal for Gary Sanchez?
I mean, am I okay with it as far as like, am I happy that we have Sanchez back? No. But as far as the catchers that were available out there, yes.
Okay.
Because Yan Gomez just signed, and I think he was the best catcher out there as a free agent. There is nobody right now. Unless they make a trade, but I don't think there's a really big market for catchers right now. So, yeah.
So if you
could hit home runs.
Yeah. If you are tuning in, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to us, because I know, Kyle has this cult-like following. They all just jump into the room at once, and they're just salivating for the pick. We will make picks later on today that we have two. Is that right?
Two, yeah.
Two. Speaking of two, there was two big NBA games last night that everybody tuned into, especially myself and Dina, of course, who's sitting next to me off to the side here. We're the Knicks people. So is Kyle. The Knicks played the Nets. Ray made his re-debut in Chop Sports, because the guy doesn't say anything until the Knicks play the Nets, and if the Nets win, that's when he speaks up, which is hot garbage. But welcome back, Ray. It's been a while. But watching that game as a whole, the Knicks team that we have established right now, it's exciting. It's still the Knicks from last year, I think, where it's like they got these role players and they all, relatively have a good role on the team. It's just that, there were certain things last night that were definitely alarming for this. And Chris, did you watch the game?
No.
Okay, great. So Kyle, obviously you and I watched the game.
I did watch the highlights of the game.
Okay.
So
there was some highlights, and guys like Quickly, and then he makes me happy sometimes, but then I compared him to John Starks. Like when he's on, when he's off, he looks like the worst shooter in the history of shooters. But this Knicks team last night against the Nets, they fell short. I don't like the end of the game. The end of the game pissed me off because the NBA is all of a sudden acting like the NFL, where all you got to do on a desperate situation is just get the ball to your best free throw shooter, and he's going to be hacked. Durant takes the clock all the way down, drives the hole. It was barely a foul. Like it was, I don't even know.
You say that this is ruining the NBA. Do you remember Michael Jordan? Like, he drew a foul every play too. Do you remember Dwayne Wade in the Miami Heat in the finals?
The star players are always going to get the calls, but the question is, which Durant play are you talking about? Because there was two at the end. There was one with the Derrick Rose little slap on the elbow.
That was such another one. That was just like, come on.
And then the other one where he got straight up blocked. That wasn't a foul. He got blocked, as in his shot was blocked and not a blocking call. But overall, it's early in the season, and if you're a Knicks fan, I wouldn't be upset with what we saw last night, especially because Julius Randle finally showing, ever since the playoff series, there's so many times where he gets the ball, and I swear to God, he looks nervous out there. He looks like he forgot how to be the star player or the focal point of an offense. But last night, there was a few plays. There was one play in particular where he got the ball about 13, 14 feet from the basket with Harden on him, and normally he would have done his little shoulder lean, jump back, step back, jump shot that he always does, which is a decent shot, but it's not always on. This time, he took a dribble, took a step to the basket, drew the double team, and found Burks in the corner for the three. And Reggie Miller said it best. He was calling the game.
Reggie Miller's an asshole.
I hate Reggie Miller, but
Reggie Miller's still an asshole. I still hate him all these years later.
I hate him as a commentator too, but he was spot on. He was talking about, and they showed a whole highlight reel of Julius Randle showing patience. And I think that's a good sign. He needs to go back to being a facilitator. He's not Kevin Garnett. He's not a prime time scoring guy. He has the talent where sometimes he can be, but the Knicks are not the best version of themselves when he's trying to do that. Tough loss, but Knicks plus 6.5 covered. But speaking of absolute scrubs, Chris's boy crush went 4 of 21 from the
You're
floor.
moving on from the Knicks already. He's going right into Steph Curry
I want to hear
drama.
him defend his guy.
Bro, it's one game. I understand it's a big game, but I think that Steph Curry has done enough in his career, in big games particularly, where you can't say that he's a choke artist. There's no such chance in hell that Steph Curry isn't going to right the ship. Obviously, the Warriors are going to be fine, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the preview of what, and I'm using your words, a preview of the Western Conference Finals. So
I did say that.
If the Sauce actually believed that Steph Curry is bad, and he's my boy toy, I would. That's a stretch. I would say that I do like LeBron more than Steph Curry, but right now I'm just a front runner in the NBA, so I automatically go to Steph Curry because LeBron and the Lakers are failing.
I mean, they got beat last night with Booker goes out, right? If Steph is even slightly below average,
competent. If he's competent,
yeah, no, I agree.
They win the game.
But what do you think about the Warriors getting Klay Thompson back soon?
Well, what's soon?
Very soon. I mean, he's practicing.
Yeah,
he's
really?
like almost a full
I heard he got
go.
cleared for 5-on-5.
And they've only lost like 2 games so far, right? The entire season.
3.
No,
that might have been.
I think they started off. I think they started off like 0-1.
Yeah, or not. The Suns started off 1-3.
Oh no, it was the Suns that started off really bad. They haven't lost since. Yeah.
But
I
the thing
lost
was
money
with
on
Klay Thompson and another. I hate when I'm stealing things that they said on ESPN last night, but he was spot on with it. I forget who it was, but with Klay Thompson, yeah, he's going to come back and he's probably going to be able to knock down shots, right? He's one of the best jump shooters I've ever seen in my lifetime. But what made Klay Thompson great was not just his offense. He's a lockdown perimeter defender. He hasn't played in 2 years. I mean, he's going to come in and he's going to be a knockdown shooter. But
it's been a while.
We're going to have to see what he's able to do he's had 2 serious injuries. It wasn't like it was just one bad one. There's 2 really bad ones. I don't think that the knee is that big of a deal.
Listen,
NBA
I know you guys are, but what was it, ACL?
It was an ACL, but my point is,
in the NBA, that's got to be one of the toughest injuries to come back
from. The doctors that they have now, ACLs, they're fairly recoverable.
Yeah.
But the Achilles, I'm not sure about when it comes to perimeter defense. I was very sold that Kevin Durant wasn't going to be able to come back to his form. He has.
Yeah, he looks
so
good.
I think Klay Thompson will be okay. And the good thing is he's not going to be asked to do too much.
I bring up this comment from I'm So Florida. If you make Curry play on both ends of the court, you can beat the Golden State Warriors.
I mean, yeah, that's a given.
I've been saying that for years that this kid doesn't play defense.
No, that's not true. He plays defense.
This year he is playing some defense. As of like a month ago, he was 73rd on the. You guys should use the Raptor ratings, by the way. CBS bought them, and they the best analytics. If you're trying to figure out who's playing great defense, because not everyone has time to watch game film and break it down. So
to piggyback back off the Knicks game, fourth quarter hasn't been a problem really. It's coming out of half. What is with the Knicks that can't come out of halftime? That third quarter was what is they're falling asleep. They're still sleeping. If they're taking rest.
I put that on the coach because you could sit here and say all you want, but if it's consistent, it's effort and it's got to be on the coach.
Yeah, well,
and Durant also was ice cold in the first half, and then in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden.
That's another thing too. If the other team is just hitting shots, but I also think because there's the trend that the Knicks come out soft in the second half, that other teams know that, and they come out firing hard.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, second unit is great.
So Dina chiming in from the side, thinking the bench is better than the guys on the court that are starting the damn game. I mean, that could be a thing too. I don't disagree there. I can't say, just so you know, Chris, I'm looking at the studio. I don't know what graphics are what on the side here, so I don't know. You added them. They're not in any kind of specific
we were
order.
In some rapid fire shit going on. So what are you looking for, David?
No, just what we were going to go from the NBA into the college because the rankings came up.
A lot of people want to, because a lot of people followed my bet on the.
So there's a massive bet. And as far as I'm so Florida asking what's the deal with Kemba Walker, I think he's gonna he might be moved. I'm thinking, right? I mean,
he's been removed from the rotation. They haven't given us any more information on that. I think it was Scoop who said that he expects them to come off the bench eventually, but as of right now, he is not seeing minutes. And as far as
how did he fall out of favor so fast?
I don't know. I think it's more of like to get him going. I don't think it's them saying like you're not good enough to play on the Knicks.
He's gonna get traded.
I think it's a motivation thing.
If somebody will take him,
his value is at an all-time low right now.
Yeah.
All right. So from the NBA, obviously the Knicks, they'll bounce back after that one. I don't like the way they lost. I never like the way they lose games sometimes where they rip your heart out at the end there. The Warriors Suns, unfortunately, again, for anybody who took, Golden State, they shit the bed as well. College football. Yesterday, AP comes out with their rankings in which the playoffs will be starting in 2 weeks? 3 weeks? No, January. When the fuck did the playoffs start? Like I know all the right conference championship games are this week coming up.
The day after New Year's Day, I think.
That's insane to me, man.
Like, and then the championships the following week on the 9th. I think it's second and.
But it blows my mind, bro. Like how does that happen? Like the college season. Oh, nice catch. The college season ends on.
I hate how they
this way at the end of this weekend, and then you don't play for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I don't know if it has to do with the holidays. I don't know what the reason originally was, but this has been the way it's been for a really long time.
No, I know. It's just I've never.
I would have to look back at why they did it when they started doing this.
This is like college football and bowl games, like 150 years old.
Yeah,
no, I know. But it is getting heated up, and there are a bunch of teams in the conversation, and we'll bring up this graphic here, which is interesting to say the least. Right now, as it stands, Georgia is their number 1. Your number 2 is Michigan. Number 3 is Cincinnati, and number 4 is Alabama. I'm not sure. Isn't it 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3?
But
so this graphic
who knows what that's going to look like 1 week from today?
Well, yeah,
that's crazy. So, all right. So the big one, obviously, everyone knows Georgia's locked in. Win or lose to Alabama. The question is, what people are wondering is, can Alabama get in with a loss to Georgia? And the only way that's possible that I'm seeing is if Michigan, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma State all lose.
That's
because
to me, that's nearly impossible.
Yes, I mean it's highly unlikely. I'll say.
Like you've heard of the term needs help. This is a lot of help. Would you
say that Ohio State then gets in too?
Yeah. Okay. So teams that get in over 2-loss Alabama, in my opinion, Oklahoma State definitely. If they, I said Oklahoma State had to lose. So Notre Dame, I think 2-loss Ohio State has a better resume than Alabama. And which one am I missing? Oh,
Notre Dame.
Wait, I messed that up.
So what were you trying to say?
It's Notre Dame.
Pull that graphic back.
Got it. There it is. It's right up. Right there on your screen. So
sorry about that. So
it's all good.
Ohio State takes their spot, is what I'm saying. Their losses are to Oregon, who was ranked number 3 at the time, and Michigan, who's I know who Michigan is. So they have a more impressive resume. And from what everyone's saying, Kirk Herbstreit was on yesterday saying that like the chances of Alabama getting in with 2 losses is so slim, especially because Cincinnati should win, Michigan should win, Minnesota has a good senior quarterback, Tanner Morgan, but that team talent-wise isn't even close to on the same level as Michigan. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm not even hedging. Just to let you know.
So you're no longer doing what you said you were going to do.
That's me personally.
You were a week ago. You're like, I might just do this.
Well, I'm personally not hedging it just because I'm letting it ride.
But on his advice is hedge it for the free money. The whole thing stands.
Yes.
But he's a gambler, so he's rolling the dice here.
Exactly. I'm rolling the dice. If you want to play it safe, bet Alabama money line. I saw it as high as plus 195 or something.
Wow.
So you're still looking good. They're going to get blown out by Georgia in my opinion. But
here's a question. Alabama beats Georgia, right? Let's just say that happens. Does Alabama move to 2? You would think
that would probably depend. They
that
might
win,
even move
that's
to
a
1.
massive
I don't
win.
even know.
No, they wouldn't move to. Well,
it's interesting, man. I mean, that's definitely a conversation to be had. Even though Jimmy Palumbo chiming in saying we know nothing about college football, neither do Rutgers. Apparently, they don't know anything about college football either. What was that? Oh, he retracted that. Okay, well, what a guy. He said, "RU Hoops is back." That's great. Clemson, they beat Clemson last night. But anyway, another interesting thing that I wanted to bring up, considering the fact that Kelly just left Notre Dame and now will be coaching LSU. Like, Notre Dame obviously needs, you were just talking about how teams need a lot of help to get in, right? Notre Dame, what is their scenario now that they don't play another game? Can these guys sneak in somehow?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Notre Dame, I mean,
they need the most help. They need almost as much help as Ohio State.
I think they need 2 of those teams above them to lose. Michigan, Cincinnati, Alabama.
Who are your locks with a win? That's the best way to put it.
The locks with a win are the 4 that are sitting there and tack on.
Well, then
no.
Technically you can't have 4 because 2 of them are playing each other.
Because 2 of them are playing each other. So Oklahoma State.
Well, Georgia's a lock with a win also.
But Oklahoma State's a lock with a win, and Alabama's out. Alabama's a lock with a win.
I don't know if Oklahoma State gets in if Alabama beats Georgia, because Georgia's still going to make it. I think that if Alabama beats Georgia and the other ones win, that's the 4 that are in there.
Interesting. Now, my other question, my 2-part question was with Notre Dame. Let's just say for whatever reason, the everything falls their way, and whoever they need to lose loses, and the scenarios played out where they got Notre Dame as the number 4, right? Who the hell is coaching this team? Kelly's not there anymore. It's done. There's no like a farewell tour. It's over. He's gone, right? So who's coaching this team in a playoff game? That's insane to me.
My prediction is that nobody, because they're not going to make it. But if they do, they're probably just going to promote one of the coaches that all the players like on either the offense or the defense. But it's just like, imagine they're not going to go make a hire right now.
No, I know.
The bigger question is who's going to coach Notre Dame going forward.
That's another thing.
Urban Meyer already said he won't. But Urban Meyer is the biggest liar in all of sports.
Urban Meyer to Notre Dame would be quite something. And then he would bring Team Tebow over there with him to coach, and just the Lord would be shining down on Notre Dame, literally and figuratively. But it's interesting. We'll see. But the college football.
I have one more question about the college playoff, though.
Sure.
If in fact there is a chance for Ohio State to get in, obviously it would have to come off of a Michigan loss. Correct?
Oh,
like Michigan would have to be losing. So
I already know where you're going with this.
So if Michigan and Ohio State are those final 2 teams that are, vying for the 4th spot, then how would you put Ohio State over a 2-loss Michigan team?
That's the craziness that is the college football rankings. I know.
But you're saying that there is an actual chance.
I think Ohio State would jump Michigan if they lose, which is nuts. They just beat them. But Michigan was ranked ahead of Michigan State all year, and Michigan State beat them.
So you think Ohio State can jump in over Michigan, and Ohio State doesn't even have to play?
I'm just saying that they could jump them. For them to get into the playoffs is like
a lot more
insane.
has to happen. Without me getting into the confusing aspect of it, because
my mind's about to
about
explode,
it, and we had that meeting in pre about what was happening, and the minute you sit here in front of it, it's like, wait,
yeah,
it gets very confusing.
They said right on the show yesterday. I was watching, they were breaking down the college rankings and the playoff implications right after it happened on ESPN. And they were straight up saying, like, I don't know. And the guy next to Herbstreit was like, I've never heard you say I don't know before. And he's like, this is crazy. There's so many scenarios.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Like, you just go like, oh, what do you think?
And now everybody, the whole conversation is there needs to be a 6 or an 8 team now. But do you realize that they love this? Because nobody knows.
Scoop a loop coming in saying he wants an 18 playoff.
And remember when they needed a 14 playoff, and you're always going to see those fringe teams that feel they deserve it. So it's like you could go to 8, and then you're going to be like, well, you need a 12 because there's 4 teams that feel that they deserve to be in the 8.
Yes.
At what point you're just going to have to shut it down? I think 4 is good for now.
This year is definitely better as far as the argument to include more teams. In years past, it was like Alabama, Clemson, maybe LSU or Georgia, whoever was having a hot year. And the difference between the 1 seed and like the 7 seed was like 40 points. Other than Georgia, everyone's a lot more evenly matched this year. So like the argument to include more teams works this year. Some years it's like, why are we putting 8
and
teams
in? The landscape of college football is about to change drastically over the next 5 years. So
with the NIL stuff, the teams are going to get
not only that, just the power conferences, everybody jumping ship, and you're seeing the SEC is getting Texas, am I not mistaken?
Well, yeah, and let's think about that for a second, because I bring up the NIL thing because obviously we have our top athletes and we have our own thing going on over here. But in reality, like, all right, Kelly's going down to LSU, right? Kelly has this amazing resume with Notre Dame. You stack that on top of the fact that you can now pay your players. Like, these teams that are hovering at the top 5, top 6 teams, top 10 teams in the country, that will remain forever as long as the coach is in place. Think about that. Who's going to go somewhere else? Who's going to go play with Shiano right now when they can go down to Kelly, right? Or what's his face that went out to USC? Lincoln Riley.
No,
yeah. I would love to go out there. Why would I go to Shiano? Why would I go anywhere? Why would I go to Penn State? These teams have these coaches in place, and now which they're going to start literally these Nike deals and all this other shit.
If I'm being honest, and we had this conversation about Saquon Barkley with Jimmy one day, whereas like he committed to Rutgers. He went to a Rutgers game, and then the following weekend he went to a Penn State game, and he was like, wait, there's a, sitting in front of 20,000 people that are all alumni at Rutgers games. And it's more like the tailgate is a bigger party than the game. And then you go to see a Penn State game and there's 100,000 fans that got your name in the fucking big screen. It's a big,
they got to fly over for you.
So that's always been present. Like that's why college football is as lopsided as it is. And you see the same teams every year. But really, if you're going to look at a coach for Notre Dame, that's the bigger question. It's like, just get a good recruiter. All you need is a recruiter. The X's and O's will take care of itself. There's 2 sides of college football. And I think that Notre Dame has to focus on recruiting because the coaching staff that they have, they all know football. And it's all about recruits.
Interesting. It will be interesting. The landscape of college football will definitely 1,000% change.
This weekend's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun.
And I'm putting up so many YouTube videos for these.
The videos all day, galore. But let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about another ranking system that is completely flawed, and that is the NFL power ranking system. We'll talk about that when we come back. And obviously, again,
lonely at the top, baby.
Stick with us because we do have 2 free picks from the sauce. Kyle Kerms himself. Coming up in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back. Myself and Gooch are both getting a little older. One of the first things to go is your vision. Thank goodness for our hookup over at Absolute Eyewear in Woodbridge, New Jersey, right on Main Street next to the train station. They have glasses for all ages, all budgets. They have safety glasses, sports glasses. They are a full-service powerhouse offering eye exams and even free lenses for the kids. They work with BCBS, AAA, AARP, giving massive discounts. They're open 5 days a week, closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. Call 732-326-3937 to get your first pair of Ray-Ban, Burberry, Coach, Polo, you name it, they got it. Go see Craig and Johnine right now.
About power rankings is that they don't matter unless your team is at the top. So
we lost Kyle. We lost Kyle as far as the camera is concerned. Welcome back to the show. We'll get Kyle situated in just a second. I'm not sure what happened. Just rejoin the studio unless something else happened. There we go. Here he is. Back? Yes, you are back. Front and center. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Of course, Dave Sturch. I almost called myself the entire name. I usually just do the Sturch and Gooch thing. Sturch and Gooch. And of course, Kyle Kerms in the house. The pick fish is off to my right. Dina Simpson move-in day over here at Shop Studios. We're coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio here in beautiful downtown Matawan, New Jersey. I say downtown, but it's definitely not downtown, right? Like this isn't downtown Matawan.
It's like a block away.
Okay, so we're a block away from Main Street. Main Street's right there. Dabari's Pizza. Zach, what is this now? AJ, Zach Wilson in his last 2 games in America, 2-1. Dak Prescott. Okay. All right, AJ. So this is why, we'll remove you and everything about you. So the NFL power rankings come out. I don't know where. Look, this is I'm all over the place.
Facts.
There we go. NFL power rankings conversation to be had. Now, at the top, it makes sense. Okay, the Green Bay Packers. I said it last night. I said that. Well, you said it at the end of the show. Dave, who's the best team in football right now? And I said the Green Bay Packers. And look, despite all the injuries, which you've talked about on the Packers Pulse, which, by the way, if you guys are listening to this right now, please go subscribe to the Packers Pulse. Go subscribe to all the podcasts that dropped today. We had a new goddamn Jets podcast, and I'm not calling it like Goddamn Jet. Like, that's the name of the show. It's the Goddamn Jets. So go check out their podcast and listen to them blow Zach Wilson the entire time. And of course, then you have my All About the Star Dallas Cowboy podcast. I had a great guest in studio yesterday. Pretty dope. But anyway, so the power rankings, I said the Packers were the best team in the NFL. There's a reason for that, because all the injuries, they've weathered the storm. They're not missing anybody, really. I mean, like, they're missing them physically, but they didn't look like they missed them at all against a really good Rams team, the Rams are nowhere to be found in the top 10, which that's justified. They haven't won since the curse. I think the Rams
are highly overrated at this point. I mean, they lost 3 in a row.
You know what's funny? There is a team on this, and I'm just going to list them right off the rip, but there is a team on this power rankings in the top 10 that are behind the Rams in the standings. Go figure that one out. So leading off, the Packers are the top team. They're the number 1 team in the NFL. After them, a team that didn't play a game last week, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. Number 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just beat the Colts on the road. So that's a big win for them, which, by the way, did any of you guys hear the Tom Brady stuff yesterday?
No.
Oh, man. I love Tom Brady because he's like very authentic and he'll say whatever he wants to say. He literally said, he's like, well, I guess those horseshoes on their helmets weren't as lucky as they hoped they'd be. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he's such a dick.
Time to hang him up. Yeah. That's the worst dad joke I ever heard. Yeah. I'm pretty bad with dad jokes.
Swing and a miss.
Dad joke is galore. So the Bucs at 3. The Chiefs, off a bye, are at 4. The Patriots, I know everybody's listening, like, where are the Cowboys? I know, I'm getting there. The Patriots are 5, coming off their big win. And of course, the Bills are 6. I know, we're still here. This is where I get nuts right about now. Number 7 is the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, number 8 are my beloved Dallas Cowboys.
Bengals above the Cowboys.
9 are the Baltimore Ravens. And number 10 is the team I was referring to before. The San Francisco 49ers are in the top 10 over the Los Angeles Rams. My gripes with this right away are that the Bengals are ahead of the Cowboys. Like, what are we doing here? You know, like, the Bengals were 2 weeks removed from being written off completely as the same old Bengals, and now they get a win last week, and all of a sudden they jump the Dallas Cowboys, and which I know Cowboys lost to the Raiders on Thanksgiving. Dina's Raiders over here. If it took everything out of me not to like I know you, so it was like hard for me to not be mad at you. I was like mad at some. You're like, and it's so funny because you like. Yeah. What do I say here? Is he about to jump off the bridge? But anyway, the Cowboys are at 8, which is upsetting to me because the Bengals, I don't feel, are a better team than them. And if you're talking power rankings, then that's exactly what it is. Power rankings. Chris, do you agree with the Bengals being over the Cowboys?
Do I think that the Bengals are a better team than Dallas? I do not, right? But, and I'm only using your words here and I'm paraphrasing, but a couple weeks back, you justified putting the Packers down low based on their recent play and their recent injury situation. And if we're basing the power rankings off of what's going on right now in the NFL, and this is Dave's criteria, not mine, because my criteria is solely based on the fact of where they have my team. I like them if my team is ranked high, and I don't if they're not. So that's literally my criteria. I'm admitting that power rankings are garbage unless they're mine. But yeah, right now, Dallas, they haven't won. They won 1-3 in November.
Yes, right? November was not very kind to the Dallas Cowboys.
The Bengals did have a really shitty loss, I think, in the first week of November.
Bengals lost to the Jets too,
but they had some good wins. And right now, they just beat up on a division rival for the second time this year. The Bengals are cooking, man. They're same record as Dallas, right? And
same record with a better point differential
and a tougher division. So you could make the case. It's just that, look, when we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, it's hard to give them credit. That's why the minute they start losing, I'm like, here we go, same Bengals. But they must have watched the podcast and we're like, you know what? Fuck Chris. We're going to show them.
Exactly what they did, by the way.
And they responded to my critique. So good on Joe Burrow. Good on, I don't even know their coach. It's sad. What's their coach's name?
Zach Efron.
Basically.
Zach, right? Why can't I think of the Bengals coach now? Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor. I hope nobody put that in the comments because I don't want anybody to. Okay, good. That was on me. I remember that.
We got Zach.
What? We got Zach. That was the easy part. And here comes chiming in. Boo-hoo. My team is ranked 8 in the power rankings. Try 31, Dave. That is the resident Jaguars fan. Or one of the residents.
Scoop, your team has earned that 31. Oh my God. I bet them +2 last week. That was disgusting, bro.
Will you ever actually Will you ever bet him again just because of that?
Probably next game. I think I like that they can stop the run, and I think Trevor Lawrence, like I've seen too much from him at Clemson. I've seen him do such amazing things.
I think that they're 6-4 against the spread or something. Like they're not a bad team.
I think it's 4-6, but they're not as bad against
it's just a couple games off.
You know.
I'll bring up this as well in this power rankings thing because I'm not going to
they probably played 11 games. So
I'm not going to keep harping on the Dallas Cowboys because I don't, if anything, I would probably put them, if it was my way, I'd put them 6th. I'd put the Cowboys 6th over the Bills and the Bengals. I know the Bills just beat up on the Saints on Thanksgiving, but they've also slipped up.
Yeah,
they've had tendency. They just lost Tre'Davious White for the year.
Right now.
They just lost White for the year, so he's gone. It does suck, and I would put the Cowboys at 6, but whatever. Little disrespect here, man. The Baltimore Ravens are the 1 seed in the AFC, and they're the 9th team on the power rankings.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Because they're fraudulent.
They've had
okay.
They've had some sloppy wins, and while there's something to be said for winning tough, tight games, but against some bad teams where they just squeak by Detroit, they squeak by Indianapolis, even though they got dominated in that whole game. So if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, for about 45 minutes of football, 50 minutes of football, Baltimore was getting spanked by the Colts, and then the Colts just stopped playing. So a few of those wins that they have could have easily have been losses, and maybe that's the reason why they're put down so low. Plus, Cincinnati beat the piss out of them in Baltimore.
And Cleveland should have covered some Sunday Night Football last week on some bullshit.
Okay, Kyle. Now that you're here, I do want to get your opinion on one player in particular. What are your feelings on Lamar Jackson?
Oh man,
because I was on an island when we're here, and it was me, AJ, and Chris, and I was the one saying Lamar can't throw. He can run. He's great and dynamic, but his throws are just completely shits. I don't know if you're on that same page with me.
Oh yeah, he sucks.
Say bang, done.
He's probably the craziest athlete I've ever seen in my whole life. And he's good enough to win some football games, but see what teams are starting to do and what they've been doing for a while, and he still finds a way to win. So it's not like they figured it out where the Ravens suck now, even though they do. They're just locking up with press coverage on the outside, sending blitzers, knowing that Lamar Jackson can't make the throws to beat single man coverage. If you're playing quarterback in the NFL, if you have a one-on-one,
you're craving that coverage.
It doesn't matter. Even if it's good coverage, you should be able to put it, or that's what you're paid to do. Lamar can't do that. Also, in defense of Lamar, he doesn't really have the receivers to beat one-on-one coverage. Also, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but I've seen too many things from him and too many bad throws and bad decisions and bad plays. And not to mention a lot of his stats this year are in garbage time, where like when I say garbage time, it's when teams are sitting in cover 4 and letting them throw underneath.
Like the Buffalo game
and the Colts game.
No, that's what I actually meant.
Oh yeah, the Colts game. There was 2 though. There was 2, but no, I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson. I'm a fan of watching him run because it's insane what he can do.
He's a human joystick.
He's crazy.
I think that he is a decent passer, but he struggles to make decisions out there a little bit. And I think what it comes down to a lot with these guys is he could do a lot athletically, but when you put him in the pocket, he could pass. But when he's on the run, his accuracy goes down by a fucking 100.
I hate him. I hate him passing the ball.
It's so funny because look, this is what makes the Ravens a good team, though. If they can weather the storm of all those turnovers from the other night and they still win the game, that makes the Ravens a good team. I can't get behind the Lamar Jackson
running back
thing.
that could throw the ball 75 yards on the run.
Dak Prescott.
Another running back.
Oh.
Yo, Odell's got a cannon though.
Did
Jarvis
you see the pass that Cooper Kupp made?
Huh?
No.
Cooper Kupp, they ended up overturning it because he was out of bounds. But Cooper Kupp dropping dimes on a weird little double.
Is he another
pass.
former quarterback from high school?
I would imagine he played.
I'm sure they're
all them white receivers from former quarterbacks in high school.
He probably played middle linebacker and quarterback all through Pop Warner and just dominated.
You think he has the dad that's like, my son's playing quarterback, nobody else? Like
well,
that
no,
kind of situation?
He was probably so good at football that all the dads were like, he's playing quarterback.
They want to win,
yeah,
right? Other dads out there saying like, my son is just a slow fat kid. That kid should be playing. Junior Floyd over here. Anybody get the reference? Junior Floyd.
Well, that's a little Sandlot, Little Giant.
Yes, all right. Thank goodness. I was like, oh God, I can't. Every time I do a movie reference and nobody gets it, I sit there and I hear crickets in my own head.
Junior Floyd's overrated though.
Junior Floyd was.
Icebox carried that team.
Icebox did carry that team, and Spike was figured out. The running game.
Exposed.
Am I the only clown in the world that was rooting for the Cowboys in that
of course. I was all over the Cowboys. Yo, speaking of the Bengals,
who did you bet in that game?
I had the under.
It was
the annexation of Puerto Rico screwed me at the end. But yo, speaking of the Bengals, just being objective, because obviously I think I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm the most negative Cowboys fan ever. But the Bengals, right? They're coming off 2 blowout wins in which Joe Mixon has 290 yards rushing in them.
One against the Raiders, one against the Steelers.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they're not great teams, but they're not the bottom of the bat.
Not like sniff.
But they're blowing teams out. Joe Mixon is now starting to run the ball. What they were struggling with was Joe Burrow was having to do too much. They're really good on defense against the run. You can make a solid argument that this team deserves the 7th spot. I wouldn't make it. I'm just trying to be objective and offer the other side of the coin here.
Well, you're doing a good job doing that.
Looking at Cincinnati, I don't see many holes. They're pretty bad in coverage in certain situations.
Secondary.
Oh, don't talk bad about my boy Cheeto. Cheeto Awuzie. Cheeto's the man.
But he's middle of the road corner. Yes. He's good, but he's not shutting down.
He's good enough to leave Dallas. And take a higher payday from Cincinnati. So yeah, that rounds out the NFL power rankings. Obviously, a full slate of NFL action coming up this weekend, starting on Thursday night with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New Orleans Saints. We'll preview that game tomorrow, but when we have the sauce here, I'm not saying make a pick because obviously you got to do your analytics and all that good shit. What is the spread of that game? I think it was opened at 5, right?
I saw it was at 6 last I saw. Let's see now.
I wonder if it dropped because
4.5.
So Taysom Hill gives him a little boost in the quarterback department, and the fact that Kamara is probably coming back. So that game would be interesting. Dallas on the road. I don't know.
I think if you look at Kamara's numbers when Taysom Hill plays, they're really not good.
Taysom Hill is really like Tim Tebow, and nobody wants to admit that. He's a gadget guy who has a decent arm, probably a better arm than Tim Tebow, I'd say. Tebow really never hit. Tim Tebow's claim to fame is a 5-yard slant over the middle that was taken 75 yards. So that's like on the stat sheet. Sure, he has a 75-yard touchdown with an overtime playoff win, but the throw itself stuck.
Why are you so afraid of Taysom Hill?
I don't know. You know why?
Right? I get it though, because it's that gimmick. Feeling it's hard to game plan. You don't know what they're going to pull out of their sleeve, and there's probably going to be a decent amount of. Is Trevor Siemian hurt, or are they just?
No, he's just. Sucks.
So you'll probably see a decent amount of him too. As weird as that sounds.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think
you think if they're nodding and giving Taysom Hill the start, that the other guy's going to play?
I would say that there's a strong chance that
there's the reason why Taysom Hill's going in is because Siemian sucks.
Well, I think that the reason why Siemian even started to begin with was because Taysom Hill sucks.
No, he was hurt,
and he sucks.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's again, Craig, our resident Saints fan at Chop Sports, he was the one telling me that, if Trevor Siemian would to start this game after what they've shown on tape against the Eagles, against the Bills, and Taysom Hill is just sucking out loud. If Trevor Siemian sucking out loud, if Trevor Siemian was the quarterback going into this week, then the Saints were technically tanking, and they were just like, we don't have a shot. But the fact that they're putting Taysom Hill in there makes me cringe. It makes me very, 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 very nervous.
If your team was as good as you're saying they are, then it won't matter.
Yeah, sure. Bring
that shit.
Scoop. Dave's afraid of the unexpected, and he goes, and Dave's anxiety towards Dallas in general. Yes, nothing is guaranteed with this team ever, especially, the last couple weeks for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, yeah, they should win. They should win. They should win. They should win. And then the stinkers that they put up are just
the Thursday night games have been tough. I've actually done pretty well on Thursday night football. As far as road favorites, it's tough. But I actually haven't even made a pick on that yet, so I have nothing to give. It'll be on YouTube though.
If Jimmy Palumbo chiming in, by the way, Jimmy's avatar on YouTube is amazing because that's one of my favorite scenes from Beer League. He's sitting there on the porch when he drops the atrocious line of the daughters dancing.
Starting to get people chiming in asking for Kyle's pick.
Yeah, I get it. Everybody calm the hell down. It's coming. But anyway, he says if the Cowboys lose on Thursday, Friday's show is a must see. First of all, Jimmy, every show, every day is a must-see television, okay? Everybody's going to be tuning in. We got some new lights. We got some new cameras. It is just all go. So you'll see it all when you get back here on Monday. So before we get out of here, and before we close this show on a Chop Sauce Wednesday, Kyle Kerms, I want to first of all thank you again for coming in. Dina, of course, will be moving in I almost said down the block, but it's literally like right 4 feet from us. So we're excited about the new things going on here at Chop Sports. There's no more Cold War. That is over. But before we get out of here, there is NBA games going on tonight. There are people just chomping at the bit, waiting for your pick. Who do you like and what's going on?
All right, I'm going to give out 2. And
these are bonuses, ladies and gentlemen. You got to pay for this kind of shit. Okay, only here at Chop Sports. So right now, before you do this, you got to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel right now, right? And then you got to follow us at Chop Sports Media on Instagram and Twitter. Or all of a sudden the volume will actually mute and you won't actually hear the pick. So that's what you have to do before the pick actually comes in. But go ahead, take it away, Kyle.
All right, the first game, Hawks at Pacers. Hawks won 7 games in a row, right? That losing streak, I think they lost about 7 or 8 in a row before that. They snapped that. They won 7 games in a row. That streak was snapped by the Knicks last weekend, which was dope. I loved it.
Trae
Young. But the truth is the Hawks were the better team in that game. They shot 9 for 37 from 3. And still only lost by a couple possessions. I think it was like 98-90 final score. So they should have beat the Knicks. They should be on an 8-game winning streak right now. In the last 2 weeks, they're third in opponents' points per possession, second in opponents' effective field goal percentage. They're playing the top 3 defense in the NBA right now. I don't care that Bogdanovich isn't playing. I'm still riding with Atlanta. They should not be underdogs here. Take the 1.5, play the money line. Doesn't matter. They should win this one easily. So Atlanta, I like the Hawks here and Trae Young. Second one, so Embiid came back. And since then, the Sixers lost in double overtime to Minnesota, which Embiid dropped 42 points. It was a weird game, that one. And then the last game against Orlando, they didn't cover, but they were up like 13 or 14 at half and then faded a little bit against the Magic. That's the only reason that Philly's getting 3 points here. From the Celtics, the Celtics have never scared me all year. They play some good defense, but the Sixers are finally healthy. Joel Embiid is back. They had a day off. I think this could be a blowout. I'm going to be riding Philly over the next couple weeks. They're 2-8 in their last 10, and they're not happy about it. They've had a ton of injuries to get them there. They're pissed about that, and I think Philly might win 8 or 9 out of their next 12 or 13.
There's some major urgency out of Philly right now.
Yeah,
so they're treating it like playoff games at this point.
And they got attitude Embiid
because they lost a ton of games in a row, and they're fighting back to get into a good standing in the East.
Yeah, I know it's still so super early.
Of course, but it's getting there, bro. It's like you're a little past the quarter point of the season, or about at the quarter point of the season.
Yeah,
right now. So you got to get going.
Okay.
And Embiid's he loves the team. Like Embiid's a team guy. He comes off like a dick sometimes, but like he takes the shit seriously, and he plays with a lot of attitude. He's gonna come out mean tonight on Boston, and Robert Williams III on the Celtics. He plays physical, but who's no match.
Who's the point guard that's filling in for Ben Simmons, who's playing pretty well?
They got 2. Maxey is killing it. Yeah. That's Quickly's college roommate at Kentucky.
There you go.
And then also they got that guy Tybal who plays he plays like the 2 also, but great defender. He is basically Simmons. He's long defender on the perimeter. They're not even missing Simmons right now. I mean, maybe a little bit has athleticism, but they're not missing him that much. This team's good.
What are they going to do with him? Better off that he's not there because he won't show up in the playoffs, even if he is on the team. So they're in a better position now.
But what are they? They're paying him a boatload of money. What are they going to do?
They're not actually paying.
No, they're not paying him right now because he's taking the fines. He's sitting out electively.
But I'm saying, like,
bro,
they got to do something.
I read a lot of articles about him and how he's about to just have to go back because he spends a lot of money. He's got 2 homes. You have a $17 million house.
I don't understand what he's even doing. Like, what is he mad at?
Like, they're talking about mental health. And in the beginning, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's a cop-out. Now, the more I see the way he's moving, I think that this motherfucker might actually be crazy.
He missed those couple layups in the playoffs and, like, could not handle the media. They broke him.
Listen, those things happen, man.
OKC.
You get the rest of the world on your case for the rest of your life, basically. That's got to be a tall order, you know? It is what it is. But anyway, those are your free picks, ladies and gentlemen. That's what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for is why can't I, dude? I'm like blanking today.
Tender.
No, not that one. We're already done.
Tender.
The advantages? No, I don't know. The extra rewards for sticking with us throughout the entire show. You get the free
cherry on the Sunday.
The perks. That's it. Gina from 3. Got it. But that's where I'm going with that one. The perks of listening to this entire show, you get the free picks. Go make some money. And for all of his picks, KyleKerms.com. Go do the VIP thing and sign up there because, look,
we've been taking a beating recently.
Okay, then maybe don't do
We're going to come back.
No. So now is the time.
Buy the dip.
The turnaround has begun.
Like, exactly. You buy on the dip. This is the stock market here.
The buy on the dip. It is the holidays. So, don't buy gifts. buy a subscription to KyleKerms.com, and then in turn, turn that money into
guys,
more money.
Guys, just to sit here and say one thing about, I'm going to give the disclaimer about this because I feel like a lot of times people get the wrong idea about what picks are. Kyle will give you the pick, but it's your money. Like, you got to bet with what you like to bet. And the thing about Kyle's picks is that there's analytics behind everything. You go on the site and you can see where the money's going and you make your own interpretation. But if you're just in a rush and you're like, oh, I need some action, then Kyle's your guy for sure.
A majority of my subscribers are experienced bettors. I don't get many newcomers. So they know
it's basically,
they value my opinion, but they don't blindly follow me. It's valuing the
opinion, but it's more so like paying for the work.
So then why? All right. While I understand that, and I fully agree with everybody who's subscribed to you and do all that stuff. Like, if I'm going to pay you a service, why would I, like, you're giving me the knowledge, but why would I almost fade you?
Because
if you're going one way, why would I not just ride with you?
Sometimes in the write-ups, I include why you should bet each. Like, if you're betting Minnesota, you're looking for them to clean up on the offensive glass. If you're betting, why you should bet. And then a lot of people do just blindly follow me, which recently we've been taking a bath. But we're going to get back. With these championship college games coming up, I'm going 8-0 on Saturday.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Right here live on the show on a Chop Sauce Wednesday, we have an 8-0. That's 5 and this many. That's 8. I don't know if you can see all my fingers.
8-0 on Saturday.
I know my father's listening, and he's like dying to bet on a Saturday right now. Because
listen, I don't have anything going on Saturday this weekend. I might
conference championships is what
I might actually just
8-0.
Get in on the sauce picks.
Parlay them.
You know what? I'm just gonna make a joke here. My father will be like, "Did you see what they're offering?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "They're offering like if Michael Pittman scores a touchdown and the Colts win, and they're just selling him."
Yeah.
He thinks that they're specials.
Plus 8,000. Like, oh yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest, he's fucking hitting them.
Yeah, some do hit.
Yeah,
but there's a reason they're pushing them is because they don't think it's gonna hit.
Yeah,
well, that is the gambling part of it all. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us here on a Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow, me and Gooch, to preview the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Be sure to share the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Every subscription is a big, big deal for us here at Chop Sports. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get on the sauces level over here. So we do like and appreciate him coming on in every Wednesday. And, of course, subscribe to all the podcasts that we have on. Today, we're going to be recording a new episode of Till Mets Do Us Part. Yes, it's a Mets podcast that we have here on our network. If you're a Mets fan, they're good. John Sapanero, Matt Ibanez, they just got Scherzer, so they're just like really just hugging each other, and Lord knows what the Mets fans are doing at this point with the moves that they've made. I hope the Yankees get involved sooner or later because it's a little depressing. The lockout's happening, so they have to do something today, or they do nothing until the lockout's over. So that's insane to me that all teams lock. There's nothing.
So like till June, there's a chance.
Well, apparently there's a key date that I wrote down. February 1st is when teams would report down to their spring training facilities and stuff. That's the biggest date to watch.
But you can't sign free agents. So
there's
going to be a shit ton of guys that don't have teams at that point.
Yeah. So today might be an absolute frenzy until 11:59 p.m. and the MLB, Major League Baseball, will be locking out, which is, again, scary, depressing. But there's things that got to work out. When these things end, we have Bud Farmer 420, $30 a month, best value in betting. Hey, so, yeah, so good job, Bud Farmer, which great name, 420. 420, yeah, I'm going to assume you're, stoner. Right. I'm a stoner. How old am I? Like, what a stoner.
Yo, did you see Palumbo says, no way I go 8-0? That makes me want to do it out of spite now.
Now we're going to do it, and we're going to fluff our chest when the Chop Sauce Network gets going here. Well, I'm you know what? On top of that, I'm officially riding with you. I don't know how much. My units might be pennies, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to bet every game just to see if I can ride with the sauce. 8-0, no way. Actually, Jimmy, a curious question before we wrap this up. Who does Rutgers play for the for their conference championship game? Can we bet on that team, or is that season over? Because as much as I rooted for them, they really pissed me off the last couple of weeks, just kind of closing the season the way they did. But if you want to hear about the Rutgers football, Scarlet McKnights, you can head over on the Jimmy Palumbo show this week. Great show.
No. Maybe this week. But I shut down Rutgers talk on the as the producer.
Well, it's over.
Show. It's over.
The season's over. So I mean, that's it. But
and Rutgers basketball has to cover 2 spreads in a row before you could talk about Rutgers basketball.
Got one.
Did they get one?
They beat
Clemson last night. They beat Clemson.
Oh wow! And actually, that was
they
Jimmy
looked good too.
Shit.
I had that game on the left TV the whole time.
All right, so maybe there's a turnaround, and in Rutgers at the Rack, the Jersey Mike Center.
Here, they do have a bowl game actually. Rutgers is playing in the Papa John's BBB. Oh boy,
Chicken Papadiya
BBB.
Bowl versus Grambling State.
Grambling State. I love it.
And they're definitely underdogs.
All right, guys. With that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow on another episode of the Chop Sports Podcast. See you guys later.